And my job this morning is, we know that there are two sides of our business. There's the travel opportunity, and we understand as far as income that we're earning. When you book a cruise, when you make that sale, how many times are you going to get paid? One time, right? So we also understand that there's something called residual income. And how many of you would like to also earn residual income, monthly, reoccurring income every single month? So that's what I'm going to talk about. So some of the principles that Lori explained, they are going to correlate to what I share. Some of them are not, but in the context of recruiting and building, things are going to be slightly different. Is that okay? Okay, so just put on your builder's hat for a moment. Okay, and we're going to go through this information. There are 5 steps when you're building an organization. And let's talk about why you would want to do that. Number 1, leverage. We understand that at our jobs we're being leveraged. Someone else is earning income off of our efforts, off of what we're doing, right? And so wouldn't it be great to have not just one travel store, but to have hundreds of travel stores, right? And everyone is paying how much a month to maintain and host their website? $59.95 per month. So on a residual basis, when everyone is paying their hosting fee, you're earning income every single month, right? So you're now leveraging yourself off the time and talents of other people, right? So in this 5-step recruiting process, just repeat after me. Step number 1 is to make a list.
Make a list.
Step number 2 is to pique interest. A presentation. Edification in a 3-way call. And training. And the reason why I pause is because you can really reverse steps 3 and 4. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about that as I go through this system. Step number 1 is to make a list. And most people, when they hear us say make a list, they don't. Right? What they actually do is what we call they're posers. Right? And a poser is someone that you ask them to make a list, and they immediately think of 5 people in their mind that they think would be great as a business, and that in their mind is making a list. Right? Then we have the amateurs. Right? Amateur is someone who gets started and you ask them to make a list, and they actually write down maybe 30, 50 names. Okay? Then you have a professional who, when they make a list, they actually come up with 300, 400, 500 names because they're not prejudging anyone. Okay? So I want you to self-identify which category you're in. If you have not written down, and by writing down I mean with a pen and paper, and put it down, you have never made a list. If it's in your mind, you haven't made a list. So who do you know, right, that is looking to make more money? Who do you know that likes to travel? Who do you know that wants to make more money?
Everyone.
Right? It's okay to talk back. Right? So everyone wants to do that. Right? But not everyone is going to see this opportunity. But the whole objective of making a list is to knock their name off the list as quickly as possible. Because we are sorting. We're looking for people. And if you just visualize a funnel and you're just putting people into the funnel, and out of that funnel, you're going to have customers who are going to book travel with you, and you're also going to have partners who see the opportunity to get paid from this opportunity. But if you only put 2 or 3 names in the funnel, then what opportunity do you really have? Right? You have to play the numbers game. This is a numbers game. Step number 2 is to pique and pass, or to pique interest. How many of you have introduced someone to the opportunity, but you've said a little bit too much? Okay? So you didn't pique their interest. What you did was you water hosed them with information. Right? You told them that you were in the travel business and that you could book all of your cruises and that it's only $149 and you can get rich in 5 minutes and then there's this residual income, and you just keep going on and on and on with information. Right? And that's what most people do, especially when they're new, because it's like a nervousness and we just start talking. So when we say pique and pass, you want to say as little as possible to just spark an interest in that individual, and that's it. There's a number of ways that you can do that. You can ask them a question. Would you like to travel as an insider? Are you looking to diversify your income? Are you looking for ways to save on your taxes? Would you like to have more freedom, earn more income, spend more time with your family? What is someone going to say to any of those questions?
Yes.
Right? So you're not saying to them, you don't want to join a business, would you? Right? You're not looking for a no response. You're going to ask them something that you believe that they will say, yes. I do want to spend more time with my family. I do want to earn more income. And depending on what side of the business you're focusing on, it's going to depend on the question that you ask. If you want to book travel for everyone, then you might lead with, do you like to travel? But because I'm more builder, I'm not necessarily going to lead with, do I want to travel? I might lead with, are you looking to earn some extra income? If you're looking for a builder, don't ask a travel question. If you're looking to book travel, ask a travel-related question, because you're going to get back whatever you put out. If you talk travel, you're going to get people calling you about travel, which is great. But if you're looking to do both, then my recommendation is that you always lead with the opportunity first. And here's the psychology behind that. Let's say that I talk to Ernestine and I say, Ernestine, I am a travel agent. I'd love for you to book all your travel with me. If Ernestine tells me no, flat out no, right? Maybe she books with somebody else. Maybe she's just in love with booking online. What opportunity do I now have of having her take a look at the business? None, right? But if I say, Dominique, I have an opportunity for you to travel the world, for you to save on your taxes, for you to make income, come and check this out, take a look at this webinar, whatever it is I'm going to use to expose her, she might look at the business and she might tell me, no, Kimberly, it's not for me. That's fine. But now, people don't want to psychologically tell you no twice. So if she told me no to the business, more than likely she's going to still support me and become my what? Customer. Right? So that's the win-win scenario. So keep that in mind when you're talking to someone. And then you want to pass. We're going to go over edification. And this is small, so I'm going to read it to you. But when they say yes, you say, great. I'm working with, Jason Cross. He's extremely successful in our business, and I'd love to introduce you to him to schedule a time for you to get more information. You're not the deal. Okay? Let the tools do the work for you. Right? So every week somebody's team has a webinar. Right? We have GoPro. We have all these different tools. So let the tools work for you. And remember that whatever you do is going to duplicate. Everybody say duplicate.
Duplicate.
If you sit with someone and you do a mini presentation, guess what they're going to do when they get started? They're going to duplicate that. Peek and invite. Again, everybody say this. Less is more.
Less is more.
Your job is to invite, not to present. So this is a script. I'm going to read it out loud for you. And just a couple tips. When you are piquing interest, always be in a hurry.
Okay.
Always be in a hurry. It'll save you from answering 20 million questions. Okay? And it just prepares the prospect on the front end that you don't have a lot of time. Because when they feel like you have all day to talk to them, they'll talk to you all day. Okay? So I might say, hey, Cece, do you have a minute? I'm in a hurry, but I wanted to just catch you. I just made an investment in a travel business that allows me to travel the world as an insider, save on my taxes, and generate extra income from home part-time. You've got to see this. When do you have 20 minutes in front of your computer in the next 2 days? Then I'm going to just invite them to a webinar, to a video. If I'm using GoPro, I might direct them there, right? And then, great, I'm going to send you the details. Would love you to connect you with my mentor who's helping me get my business off the ground. But if it takes you longer than 2 minutes to pique someone's interest, you've probably said too much. Okay? You're going to get questions. It's okay. That's normal for people to have questions. What we have to do is be prepared to handle any objections that we hear. Right? So someone might ask you, how much money are you making? You just got started. You can't answer that. Right? How long have you been in the business? What's the name of the company? Right? Where's the company located? It doesn't matter how many questions they ask you. If you answer question number 1, you have now opened up the door for question number 2, question number 3, and it's not going to stop. And you might be able to answer question 1 and 2, but when they get to question 3 and you don't know the answer, now it invalidates this opportunity because they're going to say you don't know enough about your business. Right? So don't do that. If they ask you a question, just say, that's a great question. When I introduce you to Leslie, she'll provide all that information. Or that's a great question. When you view the webinar, it'll answer all of your questions. I don't want to mess this up for you. I want you to see it the same way that I saw it, so it has the same power for you that it had for me.
Wow.
Or you completely take it away. And that's all about posture. The reason why our prospects can control the conversation is because you let them and you have a weak posture. But if I call someone, I called you. Right? So I control the conversation, not the other way around. Right? So if I'm calling someone and they say, well, I don't want to, well, you need to tell me this, and they try to take control of the conversation, I might say something like, well, this may or may not be for you. When you're ready to take a look, give me a call. And I would hang up the phone. Don't get sucked into people asking you questions. Don't do that. This is your business. Don't treat it like it's their opportunity and they know what's best. They don't know what's best for them. And I might tell them, I'm saving you from yourself, and I'm working with some documented leaders, and I'm in the middle of a major expansion. I have 10 more people to call. Do you want to look at the information or not? But when you have posture, people respect it. Okay? So if you're attracting people that are just running circles around you, have some backbone. Right? It's your business. Right? Now we have several presentation tools. And we have a concept called first look, second look. This is important to get. How many of you invited people here today that did not show?
Yeah.
How many of you were upset about it? I invited them, they didn't come. We're going to help you with that. When you are inviting, we highly recommend that you use a first look exposure before someone comes to a live event. And I'm going to use Lisa in the front of the room because she's a prime example of that. Just the other week, maybe a week ago, Lisa, raise your hand. It's okay, don't be shy. Right? I met Lisa over the phone and did a one-on-one via webinar. Right? That was a first look exposure. This is her second time seeing the opportunity. She has not yet partnered. Right? She came here to make a decision. But the likelihood of someone coming to an event and getting started is a lot higher than when they see it for the very first time. See, recruiting is not just a one-time event. Right? You promote and you build from event to event to event. Recruiting is a process. So when we invite people here cold that haven't seen anything before, it's a much more likelihood that they don't show. Matter of fact, it's more likely that they come and they leave with questions and want to do research. But if you expose them to a first look, whether it be a 3-minute sizzle call, that number is 646-222-0102. And this is our president of the company, Mark Campese. You can save this in your cell phone. When you have the urge to water hose someone, just hand them the phone. Right? And let Mark talk for you. A presentation call, a webinar, a test drive, a travel party. All of these are great first looks. If someone still has a question, they would need to see more information, then you would invite them to a weekly meeting. We have a meeting here every single Thursday. A Super Saturday training. Invite them to Mexico. Right? Those would be great second looks. Edification and three-way calls. This is so important. It's one of the most important tools in our industry, yet is the most underutilized tool. How many of you have done at least one three-way call last week? Well, I'll tell you, we are all guilty, even the leaders, of not doing three-way calls. But let's talk about why it's so important. This edification triangle is critical. You can see here you have you at the top, you have your mentor that you're working with, and you have your prospect. Okay? Now, whatever profession you're in, your friends and family know you for what you do. Okay? So my friends know me as a second grade teacher. If you are a doctor, they know you as a doctor. They don't know you as a guru in this industry. They don't know you as a travel agent, right? So you can get yourself out of the way by edifying or speaking highly of the person that you're working with. What that's going to do is between you, your prospect, and your mentor, is going to create something called respect. Now, there are a lot of celebrities that we already respect because they have name recognition.
That's right.
Like if I said that Oprah was at the Verizon Center and that I had an extra seat for you to attend next Saturday, how many of you would clear your schedule?
Yes.
Right, you would, because Oprah has been edified through the media. But we have our own Oprah Winfrey and Ann Jones. We have our own Michael Jordan and Jason Cross. But if you don't edify them properly, someone would know that residually they're making six figures. And Jason doing it part-time. So if we don't do a good job of building up the person that we're working with, then our prospects aren't going to listen to them the right way. Okay? So, facts tell and stories sell. You want to connect like with like. Winter, spring, summer, fall. These are the different personality types that everyone has. We usually have one or two that are very, very dominant. Okay, so your winter personality, someone who is money motivated, they're usually dressed, if you just stand up just for a second, I mean, you just have to stand up. Okay, because she is the epitome of a winter personality, and I want everyone to see what color she's wearing. Black. They're usually sharp dressed and very, very money motivated people. You probably are, okay? Right? Then you have your springs. Okay, my dominant personality is a spring. I'm a teacher, right? Your nurses, anyone in the healthcare profession, they are probably spring personalities. Your summers, okay, we have a summer right here. Cheryl, stand up for a second. They're wearing your bright colors. They're bubbly. Are you bubbly?
Yeah.
She's dancing around right now. Right? So you have your summer personalities. Then you have your falls. Okay, and I won't have her stand. Oh, yes, sir, you are a fall. Sir, please stand up. Stand up. Okay. So he is taking notes. Right? Because we have a lot of people here not taking notes. He's wearing glasses. Right? Instead of contact. Those are some things that we can identify in people immediately. We can almost pick out their car, like your fall, your spring, your summer. When you are able to identify the personality type, you're able to know exactly what to say that's going to attract them to the business. I'm not going to talk to a winner personality so much about the travel. I'm going to talk about the residual income, the opportunity to build an organization in a travel business. If I have a summer personality, I'm going to talk all about travel and going on cruises and all of that. If I have a fall, I'm going to talk about how we are documented in this industry, all the different things we do with Travel Savers. I am going to connect like with like, and the information that I share is going to be information that they are going to relate to. Okay? Everybody get that?
Yes.
You want to get yourself out of the way. Again, it shows that this is bigger than you. It increases the show-up ratio of guests at your PBRs and at meetings. So the night before we have a Super Saturday, guess what you should be on the phone doing? Three-way calling your guest into your mentor, because when they show up and out in the hall and we're mingling and they're able to meet the person they were on the phone with, now it's not a cold conversation when I say, Jackie, and I'm talking to you about the money, because I've already had a conversation with Jackie the night before, so it's not uncomfortable. So it's not so much about your leaders wanting you to do all this high speaking about them. It's because we can help you and be more effective if you do the three-way calls. Everybody get that?